Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, very, very good question.
Yeah, this is a very good question.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question.
Oh, that's a great question.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question, Zanger.
It's a great question. It's a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question. Really good question.
Gosh, this question to me, I hate this question.
That's a loaded question. but okay.
I think it's time to redo that ad. I'm getting sick of it. I mean, if you haven't seen it before, it's kind of cute, right? But a lot of you have seen it before, so. All right. What's going on? I'm still jet lagged like a motherfucker. So, I'm Doug Zanger, editor-in-chief and founder of Indie Agency News. Our brief is very simple. Build a global home for independent agencies. Our mission is to serve independent agencies and the brilliant people behind them. And our goal is more visibility for indies, more choice for marketers. As I was remarking to somebody earlier, this time last year, we had 10 agency members. Now we're up to 170. So thank you all very much for, honestly, this is a mission. This is mission-based. Very mission-based. So I had mentioned 170 members. The other thing about this too is, we got the NASCAR going. I mean, look at this. We got a lot of newbies coming in. So we get to show when they joined, and it's awesome. Now, the thing is people said, hey, but what markets are you in? So I don't have to go around and chase that down. So we've broken it down. Our 48 markets in the US. So you can see we're going to be talking to Curiosity here. So there you go. But some of our bigger markets include Boulder, Colorado, and Denver together. But I separated them because they are different. So Brooklyn and New York are big. Los Angeles, 21. Thank you so much. New York, 27. My hometown, 9, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, also the home team, 7 in Tacoma. But also you can see we're in Canada. We also have members in the UK and Europe, including Reykjavik, where I was last week seeing the folks at Brandenburg. Super, super awesome folks. So the rest of this week, let's go through some housekeeping real quick. Yes, we're going to be talking to our friends at Curiosity here shortly. And yes, I like a good pun. Curiosity killed the cat. Curiosity is killing it with some new cats. I get it. Blah, blah, blah. Don't use puns. No. We are going to use puns. And you're going to like it. Tomorrow, meet an indie agency, Hunter Blue. On Thursday, Indie Work. We're talking about vasectomy marketing with 8 a.m. out of Philadelphia. And then a new feature starting on Friday. So Fridays are fun and games, but we're calling it Fun, Games, and Freelancers. Meet an indie freelancer. Toby Brewer from Los Angeles. That is a new feature and a new benefit for freelance members. Annual membership is $180. And then also want to point out a few new posts we got up. So you might have caught our conversation with the folks that did the Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest, and I'm going to bring Ashley in because she's good kibitz on this one. So originally, Ashley, I had this Crown, one of our members out of Seattle, talking about some of the work that they've done with the Seattle Kraken and Climate Pledge Arena. Make sure you unmute yourself because I can see your mute button. And so I reached out to the folks that did the Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest, and they said, "Yeah, sure." So they joined, and then,
I love that.
I mean,
You're never afraid to ask.
what would be the big lookalike contest in Cincinnati? Like, who would you have to? Would it be Ken Anderson, former Bengals quarterback?
Joe Burrow.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, with the frosted tips.
Yeah, they're
that's
growing out. think
You know what? Yeah, I think maybe just a frosted tips contest would be pretty good. And the way the Bengals are playing, the way he throws his passes are tipped and usually picked off. So it's not a great season.
Still hurts.
Yeah, it does. And then Friday, you can see we talked to Natalia Fredericks from Partyland. And we're calling that Friday. We took a page from Ted Lasso. So remember the part where Roy Kent is like, let's get out of this auditorium, go outside and have a proper find out. That's what it's about. So then also recapping some great work, the Hatch Awards from Boston, 63rd Hatch Award. So we had folks from our members at Colossus and from GYK as well. Not yet members, but we will hopefully welcome them soon. All right. So here's the thing. So first of all, thank you for your membership, your support. You are one of our biggest advocates. I am
Always
grateful for everything that you do for us. Now, I catch wind of, stuff going on, and you start telling me, hey, we got this guy who's coming over. He's going to be our analytics head. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then we got this woman from Mirren coming on. I was like, oh, that's really good. And then somebody you might know. And then you told me, and it's this clown from Richmond going to the door, Taylor Wiegert. So this is, I can't understate how big these three hires are. And here's the thing about Curiosity. When I was back in the day, Adweek, whatever, Curiosity has always been that agency that we've looked at and we're like, yeah, that's solid. And it's been really fun to watch the continued momentum. And every agency stair steps up, right? So every agency it'll go through its peaks and valleys, just like any agency. But then even along the way, even if that's happening, you're still staring up, you're still taking these stairs up, and you reach these points where you as an agency have to realize, okay, we are going to make this move because it's in our best interest. These are three really big moves, Ashley. So talk a little bit about some of the process of just even getting into conversations and how part of this all went down. And then we'll talk to each of these individuals here shortly.
Well, it's funny, but there's a story really behind each of them and a connection to Curiosity and to Cincinnati with each of them. But ultimately, the reason why is we've just had a lot of growth and it's been pretty steady. But this year in particular was a big jump for us in terms of revenue, sophistication of clients, sophistication of briefs. And so we knew it was time to really level up our leadership team. And so we're really blessed. I mean, Dan and I worked together for 10 years at Empower, and then he went over to Kroger. Right. Laura, she actually, while at Mirren, came into Curiosity and did a whole strategic account leadership training for us.
Oh, good poach.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry about that. We followed all the rules though. So
sure. No, I get
but
it.
I mean, the chemistry was there. She understood our values. And then, Taylor and I go way, 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 way back. And we worked together a long time. And then he left to go to Martin. I cried. And I said, someday we're going to work together again. And lucky enough.
Right.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, I went to Martin and I cried. All right. We're going to start with Dan. Let's start with, I kid. No, I enjoyed my time at Martin. Dan, let's start with you. What was the appeal to you? And give us a little bit of your background as well, because you have a very interesting background.
Well, I'll start with the background. So like Ashley said, she and I worked together for 10 years at Empower, another independent agency. So I've only done the independent agency gig. So being independent was important for me. When Ashley reached out, I was in a state of boredom though with my current role. And
sure.
And it was actually the reason I'd left. One of the reasons I decided to leave was close to one of the reasons I decided to go to that role in the first place, which was just the amount of data that Kroger has and how powerful I thought that could be. And while it is and it can be, it can also be limiting in some ways. And that I think it tends to limit the creativity that you can bring to what could be possible. You're almost strapped down by what is in front of you. And just the creative aspect was another thing that I hadn't really worked in my career. And so to me, that was the white space. So it was all a mesh of all those things as to why it just felt like a really good opportunity and sort of that next step for me to take in my career.
No, and I get that. And are you native Cincinnati?
I am. I actually live in Kentucky, but
okay, over in Covington area. Yeah.
Close. Yeah.
That town sure is wow.
Yeah.
I'd been to Covington years ago, and then I came back. I said, "What happened here?"
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, the whole region really has just taken off.
Yeah,
it's been really cool to see as someone who's from the area originally.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing about Cincinnati. It's such a sneaky, interesting place because last time I was there. And by the way, when you go to Cincinnati, go to the American Sign Museum. It's fantastic. It is one of the best places. I see that with Dan having an old school sign behind him. But I was driving around and just, I was thinking, I was just, well, first of all, University of Cincinnati, I was like, oh, Kelsey's. And then I started going into some of the older parts of town. And I just said, oh my God. And it's interesting because I've been in Portland for almost 33 years. And somebody once said to me, there's a slight little hint of Portland in Cincinnati. I was like, yeah, okay. And then, being Laura, you're in Seattle, you get it. Yeah. We act too cool for the room sometimes. Yeah. But sure enough, like it is a sneaky, crafty, cool little, not even little. It's a nice size town, and it's about the same size as Portland. So I think that's why I felt so at home there. That and the chili, but we'll discuss that later. Laura, let's go with you. So Mirren, but you took a few laps around Holdco land as well, as I think I saw. So give us a little more of your background and how it all went down for you. I know Ashley teased it a little bit, but I'm sure there's a little bit more to the story.
Yeah. I mean, I've grown up in the agency business. I've held account leadership roles really since I started my career. And I've worked in indies and I've worked in holdcos. I pivoted out of agency account leadership roles and took what was a really interesting opportunity at Mirren. And I was there for about 2 years. Really cool to work with agencies as my clients, to train them, to consult with them. And it was great exposure to a ton of agencies that really covered quite a vast spectrum. I mean, I worked with boutique creative consultancies all the way up to big holding companies in my capacity as a trainer at Mirren. So I was able to see under the hood in a lot of different agencies, doing deep discovery with them, consulting with them. And Ashley teased it, but I worked with this crew about a year ago, almost exactly a year before I ended up making the move and joining the agency. And the chemistry was great. I loved the 2 days that I spent here with the team. It was almost the full agency team.
Right.
First visit to Cincinnati, spent 2 days with everyone. Yeah. So Curiosity was my first reason to be here. And now it's my reason to be here about once a month. Because as you said, I'm based in Seattle, but just loved the time that I spent with them. The whole team was so engaged, participated in everything, asked great questions, challenged things in the right way. And it was good energy and good vibes. And so when the opportunity came up, I was certainly intrigued, and here we are.
No, it totally makes sense. You worked at VML in Seattle, right?
I did, in both Nashville and Seattle.
Remember Rick Hutter?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Blast from the past.
He retired. So brief aside. So yeah. So one of the other hats I wear is Think Northwest, a regional marketing crew, association up in our area. And so we do an award for Think Northwest and so all of us on this in this show have encountered characters in our lives. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. Rick he's been at VML and its previous incarnations for legitimately something like 3 decades. And he knows everybody. And he would, I don't want to say nitpick, but he would say, I think you should do this for your entry and do that. I said, my God, you're awesome. Thank you so much. So Rick, there's no chance in hell that you're watching this. Congratulations on your retirement. But just a lovely, lovely human being. Speaking of which, that's a professional segue to Taylor Wiegert. We worked together. Let's just get this out of the way. We worked together at the Martin Agency don't even remember what my fucking role was there. It changed. But I have to say, so a couple of things, and I'm going to embarrass the hell out of you, Taylor.
Okay.
One of my favorite. So I've been doing this a long time. One of the pieces of work that I did with you and Katie, Wally Wiegert, and the rest of the team, and Mick Manluck, and the team at Superjoy, we did a 15-minute film breaking down a 1-minute spot, and it was called Frame by Frame. Because here's what happened. So I'm in Richmond for a week, and so you and Mick were explaining to me, walking me through, saying, you have to understand that this Axe ad, every frame of this has intention based upon the strategy. So the creative matches with the strategy frame. I said, oh, that's a construct. Let's do that. And so we built this, and Katie, God bless her, she did a lion's share of the work on this. But we broke down the whole thing. And when we first launched this, I'm incredibly proud of it, because I think it was such an interesting breakdown. And I remember sending it to people, and they said, you want me to watch a 15-minute video about an ad? I said, yes, I do. And 9.5 times out of 10, people came back and said, I watched a 15-minute video about a 60-second ad, and it was awesome. So honestly, and the other thing I want to say is, when Taylor would brief the rest of the teams, what I thought was really interesting is, and really great, was, number one, he was able to explain things concisely but densely at the same time. Never talked down or never made, if you didn't understand like something that was maybe a cultural relevance or something strategic, he never made you feel like an idiot. And that's, a little bit brusque, but so the thing that I appreciated was that Taylor is a teacher. And I think that's one of those things that really funneled underneath of it was that. But I also think part of it, you're from Nebraska, you have the Midwest sensibility. So, chances are, there's a pretty good chance if you're from Nebraska, you're nice. But honestly, I only stayed at Martin for a year, but I count the times where I spent time with Taylor and his team as absolutely some of the best, and honestly some of the best in my career, because I, even though, look at the color of my hair, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from Taylor, and I would hope that went both ways. So Taylor,
this was great. Should we just wrap it?
And we're done. No, I mean, but it's the truth, man. I mean,
No,
I would say
that.
publicly, I would say this privately, publicly, I just think you're wonderful. And so this is a little bit of a homecoming for you. So walk us through, and then what your gig's going to be doing here.
Yeah, no, it was about a year ago. Katie and I were in town. Katie's, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law live here. Katie's my wife, Katie Wally Wiegert, who you name dropped earlier, Doug. Mm-hmm. We were in town, and we went over to see Ashley and her husband. Ashley and I, as Ashley said, we go way, way back. And we were just like meeting up as friends. And over the years, Ashley had sort of said, hey, would you ever be interested in coming to Curiosity? And I was sort of like, yeah, like maybe someday. And again, like we were hanging out in their basement and just having a couple drinks. And she said, would you be interested? And again, I said like, yeah, maybe. And that's sort of where we left it. Then, I don't know, I think it was maybe a few months later, Trey, one of the other partners here, he dropped into my LinkedIn and he said, Ashley won't shut up about you. Like, can we talk? And basically I was like, okay, this is no longer, I've either got to say like, not interested, or, sure, let's talk. And I'll say, like, I went into it, I loved Martin. I love Martin.
Sure.
I grew up there. So I had every intention of being like, this probably a no going into this. But then I met Trey, then I met Jeff, and then I kept on just naming other people that I wanted to meet. I wanted to meet all the creatives. I wanted to meet And the more and more I talked to people, the more I started to just fall in love with the hungry humility that is this place. There's very much a chip on the shoulder sort of mentality. Like you said, I'm a product of the Midwest. I've always believed great things can come out of the Midwest, and it started to feel like, okay, like there's something special going here, and it was the opportunity to like just build something. Martin is great, and it will always continue to be great. And I have a lot of heart for that place. But the opportunity to be, there was so much momentum here. It just felt contagious in talking to the team. And so, that was what got me on board.
Yeah. No, and I do want to add one thing on the Martin side. So IPG, just divest Martin, make him indie again. We'll buy him. I got $2 sitting on my desk right now. We'll buy him. It's fine. So the one thing that Kristen Cavallo, former CEO, told me was that, she wanted to make sure that no matter how long you stayed, that it was a good experience. And I think, Taylor, that you and I both have a deep fondness for it. And my story with Martin goes back to the mid 90s, actually. And it definitely has always been in my heart. I had a chance to work there. So you're right. Nothing but fondness. But, this Indy, it's such an exciting time. Like you said, there's momentum at Curiosity, but there's also huge momentum in a lot of other places. And honestly, we are probably at 10% capacity of what brands and CMOs will learn and understand about independent agencies and how they can help grow their businesses. Now, a little roundtable-y thing here, Dan. What's one thing you want to get accomplished in like the first part of all of this? What's the biggest thing you want to tackle? And Laura and Taylor, that's code for I'm going to ask you the same thing.
Yeah, for me, the biggest thing immediately is just leveling up some of the analytic capabilities for the agency. So right now we've launched an initiative to build out a traditional marketing mix modeling capability. So we're about, I would say, halfway through that development stage. We've got our first client that's going to be like our alpha client. And so at the end of the year, hoping to have that ready for prime time for them to help inform some of the planning for next year. I'm going to give you one bonus one though, because that's like short term, and I'm excited about that work. But that's not why I came here. Why I came here was some of the longer term and how to better marry analytics with some of the creative.
Right.
And how do we, get just the team that comes up with these amazing ideas? How can we even like supercharge that even more and just have a scalable process for just amazing ideas?
Yeah, no, I love that. Laura, you're up.
Yeah, I think leveling up is the theme. I'm really excited to be joining this agency. I've got a great team to work with, but super excited to be joining with other new, smart, fresh leadership coming in to help us kind of carry on that momentum. And so for my team and kind of the way that we engage with our clients and the way that we work with our cross-functional partners across the agency, I'm going to keep my training and consulting hat on for a little while and really bring in some of the, the strategic insight from Mirren, from my background, keep that kind of teaching and training mentality, and make sure that, as an agency, the way that we show up for our clients is really focused on elevating our strategic acumen, even across the client partnership team, working closer with Taylor and his team to make sure that we understand what our clients need before they ask for it, that we can be more proactive, that we can, bring them results that impact their business and keep us really sticky and great partners to them.
I like that. Taylor, I'm gonna ask you the same question. I need you to extend out a little bit. I need you to stall for me because I'm gonna go off camera for a second to grab some of these hats. So you're up.
Amazing. All right. I'm just gonna echo what the others have said. My goal is to just continue the momentum that this agency has. It's really about taking what's been really, really good work, and it feels like we are on the precipice of just having just lots and lots of great work. As a strategist, and my role and my team's role is to figure out what's the most interesting truth we can bring to our clients and our brands and into our briefings to lead to some of that great work that the agency can continue its momentum from.
Yeah, good stall. Okay. So
I kept on like trying to think of
no,
words to
I know.
add.
No,
I couldn't
because
see you.
I used to be a morning show producer, and I'd be like, just keep talking. All right. So this one. So I went to Louisville for the Amen conference, Doe Anderson members, and then I went to Lexington to see the Cornet folks. And by the way, they said they would come up to Cincinnati when we do a happy hour, like a little half day thing.
I love that.
So
I just had lunch with Christy like a week and a half ago. So
the best. The fucking best. Pardon my French. Oh, the best. She went to University of Oregon, you know. Okay. So I had one of your folks, and I forget his name. I had him on one of the game shows.
Evan.
And, yes. And I promised him a hat, and I botched it because the production, there was something with production. So this is his hat.
Love it.
So that's Ohio colors. So I'm going to send these to you.
Okay.
I don't have a Seahawks color. I do have Bengals. So, okay. So that's going to Taylor. For
Huge
sure.
fan.
And then that's going to, let's go to Ashley. So Ashley gets that. Now, Dan, you have a choice. I mean, actually, Laura, you have a choice.
I think I'll take the black. Yeah.
You're going to take the black? All right.
Yeah,
so,
Dan,
congratulations. You get the pink. I'll see if I can get some. Dan, I'll get some more made. Don't worry about it. I'll get you. Do you want Bengals one too?
I'll take the pink, Dan, if you want the black.
Do you have anything in camo?
Oh, I can get one. Yeah. I can get
go.
for real. I can get that. Yeah.
Special request. I love it.
Yeah. All right. So hat, Indy AF hat. Ashley, stall for me while I'm writing this down.
I mean, I'm just like so happy right now. How amazing are they? Right?
Yeah.
It's just such a good crew, and man, I can't wait to see what they all do. And especially like working together too. I think the vibes are right.
Oh yeah. Oops.
Vibes are right. Yeah, it's been great so far.
No. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I mean, I was just going to say this is my first time in the office being with everybody, and it feels. I mean, I think I'm 6 weeks in. Like this place is. It has been on fire, but it's about to like really do some big things.
That's not very Midwest of you. No, I'm kidding.
I know, right?
A little too sweat. That just sounds. That's a little Chicago to me. I don't know.
Maybe I need to like couch it in some sort of way, but maybe not. How's that?
Laura, how would we in the Pacific Northwest frame that? We'd frame it like, well, things were going extraordinarily well, and we considered it to be on fire. But then I think that we looked at it, and it was an opportunity for us to think about how we could elevate that even more, and then perhaps be on fire. And I'm not going to call you back. No,
I think you nailed it.
For those of you research the Seattle No or the Seattle Freeze, and it also applies to Portland. But let me caveat this by saying I've lived here almost 33 years. No other place that I would rather be. God bless the Northwest.
It's pretty great out there.
There you go. That's me bailing myself out there. All right. I'm going to put you all backstage. This is not a Zoom call, so just hang out backstage for me while I wrap this sucker up.
All right.
Ashley, Taylor, Dan, and Laura. All right. They say aloha. And I say aloha again tomorrow. Meet an indie agency, Hunter Blue, and then we talk about vasectomy marketing. Some of you were laughing at this, by the way. Vasectomy marketing, nice job. Listen, this is going to be really interesting because Sam Kimmelman, co-founder and CEO of 8 a.m. in Philadelphia area is where my family is from. Here's the deal. You as an agency may have a client in a category that may be challenging due to regulatory issues or other issues, especially related to digital. Every agency has, not every agency, but there's a chance that if you're an agency, you might have a client like this. It could be in medicine. It could be in cannabis. There are restrictions. So you will learn something about this as well. So yeah, laugh it up. Vasectomy marketing. but it is it actually is serious. And yeah, we're going to learn a lot from Sam. And they do great work as well. Friday, fun games and freelancers. Toby Brewer, our first Meet an Indie Agency freelancer interview. He's in Los Angeles. And then we got Thanksgiving. Not sure what we're going to do. Haven't gotten that far yet. On behalf of everybody at Indie Agency News, I'm Doug Zanger. To all of our members, thank you so much. For those of you considering membership, please go to indieagency.news/join. We will have some more information on what 2025 is going to look like. That's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. Again, on behalf of everybody, I'm Doug Zanger. See you next time.